Coming to you from Annapolis, Maryland, home of the U.S. Naval Academy, the sailing capital of the world, home of the world's largest crab feast, and four signers of the Declaration of Independence. This is the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief, a daily roundup of local news that you can use, including local sports, local events, local opinion, and local weather from DMV Weather. Now here's your host, publisher of Eye on Annapolis, John Frenaye.
Hey, good morning. It is Friday, March 2nd, 2018. This is John Frenaye, and this is your Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. Very early yesterday morning, the Annapolis Police Department responded to the Robinwood neighborhood for reports of shot fired. When officers arrived, they found two men were in an argument in the parking lot, and one attempted to shoot the other one. Apparently, he was a bad shot, and he missed. The intended victim, a 32-year-old man, was not struck. However, officers did locate the suspect, Jamar Isaac, 29, on Bryson Street. He had a loaded handgun in his pocket. He was arrested and charged with attempted murder and still has not posted bail as of yet. Interestingly enough, while this is HACA property, both men were Baltimore City residents. Tom Andrews, the Annapolis City Manager who has led the city for just about 4 years, has called it quits. He has submitted his resignation to the mayor effective March 23rd, and we have learned that Andrews will be taking a position with the state. Aside from the city attorney, which was a vacant position being served by an acting city attorney, Mayor Buckley has not made any departmental appointments or changes. He brought his own staff into the mayor's office, including Brian Callahan, the owner of 49 West, as the city's economic policy analyst, Jane Haruska as his chief of staff, and she served as his campaign manager, Janice Hayes Williams as the city ombudsman, and she prior served Chris Trumbauer on the county council, and William Rowell as the public engagement officer. Additionally, he brought in Susan O'Brien as a city spokesperson. Buckley said we wish him all the well in his next adventure and said that a search for a replacement would begin shortly. Do you remember all the pissin' and moaning last year when the Nationals were prevented from playing an exhibition game here in Annapolis because the Orioles said it was their turf? Well, apparently Navy has struck a deal with the Orioles. The Naval Academy and the Baltimore Orioles have partnered on several joint events. The Orioles will host an Army-Navy game. It'll be a doubleheader at Camden Yards on March 25th of this year. Tickets are on sale for that game now at NavySports.com. But in addition, the Orioles will travel to Annapolis for an exhibition game against another MLB team in March of 2019. And this deal came apart after a 3-year agreement for the Nationals to host exhibition games here at the Academy fell apart. The Nationals played one game at the stadium before the Orioles got wind of it and said, hey, that's our crowd. Ignore what that groundhog in Punxsutawney said. Spring in D.C. is marked by the cherry blossoms, and this year they're coming a lot early. Yesterday, the National Park Service announced that the projected peak date for the cherry blossoms along the tidal basin is going to be March 17th to March 20th. And that's the date that the Park Service believes that the Yoshino cherry trees will be at their most brilliant. This will be the earliest peak bloom date since 1990, when the cherry blossoms popped on March 1st, and the second earliest on record since the cherry trees were planted in 1912. And those trees were a gift to the United States from the government of Japan, for those that don't know. But if you can get down there and play hooky in the week, go see that. It's always so spectacular right there in Washington, D.C., and we're fortunate that we only live about a half hour away. If you are looking for a job and you can make a rhyme, which I just didn't, the city has an opening for a poet laureate. Yes, the city of Annapolis is looking to hire a poet laureate. Now, don't get all excited. It's not a $100,000 a year job. It's a $500 a year job, but the city wants to hire one to promote the literary arts and literacy within the Annapolis community. Two members of the Art and Public Places Committee are the co-chairs of the Poet Laureate Selection Panel. That would be a committee among a committee. Gwen Manso and Barbara Torian are urging poets who live, work, or attend school in Annapolis and are at least 18 years old to apply for consideration for the role by April 20th. You can find more information by going to annapolis.gov/poet laureate, and I'm not making this up. That's about it for the news. Hang tight. We've got weekend stuff to do coming up. But before we get into that, we've got George Young with DMV Weather with the update on the big storm.
I'm Sean O'Neill, your local RBC Wealth Management Advisor. When you choose to work with me, you'll have access to a worldwide network of financial products and services only available from a leading global institution. RBC's international reputation for physical strength and stability, world-class capabilities, and corporate values is unique in the financial services industry. I also recognize the importance of reinvesting in the communities in which we live and work, and I'm committed to serving my clients by building long-term relationships based on trust, integrity, and confidence. I look forward to helping you with your wealth management needs. Call me, Sean O'Neill, today at 410-573-6723 for a complimentary consultation.
RBC Wealth Management, a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC. Member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC. This is Maryland. The weather can be nearly unpredictable. We've got George Young from DMV Weather in Annapolis to sort it all out.
Hey everyone, this is George with DMV Weather, and here's your Eye on Annapolis forecast for Friday, March 2nd. High wind warning in effect all day today and into early Saturday. Winds have already kicked in and have gusted to 60-plus miles per hour already this morning just to the west of Anne Arundel County. But the most dangerous period is still ahead as winds will likely become sustained from the northwest later this morning in and around Annapolis at 30 to 40 miles per hour, with gusts to 60 or possibly even 70 miles per hour at times from around noon today almost all the way through to midnight. Expected impacts remain the same with a high risk of widespread power outages as well as numerous falling trees, both of which have already been reported as of 6 a.m. today. Therefore, be sure to get all devices charged as fully as possible, as soon as possible, in case there are more power outages through the day. Outages that, in some cases, could potentially last for several days. Also, do whatever you can to not put yourself in a position in which you are impacted in any way, shape, or form should a downed tree occur where you are. Find a lower level or an interior space in your home or apartment or condo or whatever, if you have one, and stay there until the wind threat has passed. Driving, while may be necessary at times, is a little bit of a high-risk move when around trees and winds like this. This is not the end of the world, but this is a very dangerous, potentially life-threatening storm that will almost certainly see widespread property damage when all is said and done, and will almost definitely cause fatalities along the way across the eastern third or so, especially the northeastern portion of the United States, given the size, strength, and overall reach across such a populated area such as Annapolis and beyond. Play it safe. Be safe. As for the NHL game in Annapolis at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, conditions should be good to go to allow the match to occur, but it will still be breezy to outright windy and will feel cold with wind chills likely in the 20s as winds will continue to gust over 30 all the way into Sunday. Bottom line for this upcoming storm is this: it is a major threat that will last for 12 to 24 more hours. Take it seriously. Okay, that's it for us today. Download our free weather app by searching for DC MDVA Weather in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store, and also follow us at dmvweather.com or on Twitter or Facebook so you can always stay weather informed. This is George Young of DMV Weather with your Eye on Annapolis forecast. Please be safe out there. It's important all of you listening to this are along for the ride come next week and beyond. Speaking of next week, could be a snowstorm around the 9th. Stay tuned.
Mark your calendar. March 10th is the kickoff of Irish Week in Annapolis, and it all starts with the Eastport Democratic Club's annual Green Beer Races. Keg tosses, best dressed contest for you and your pooch, the Irish Rock and Rollers of Dublin 5, plenty of food, and, well, because it's called the Green Beer Races, there's green beer and plenty of racing, both for the underage kids and the overaged kids, too. This is a fun time for the whole family, including your pets. So roll on out of bed sometime on Saturday morning, the 10th of March, and head on over to the EDC at State and Chester. It all gets underway at the usual East Puerto Rican time, the crack of noon.
Need to make plans for the weekend? We got you covered. Here are our top picks. Be sure to visit eyeonannapolis.net to sign up for the events newsletter with a listing of all the upcoming area events.
Thank God it's
Friday.
Hey, and while it might be a blustery weekend, doesn't mean that you have to sit at home. We've got a lot of great stuff happening, so let's get right into it. Of course, you've got Restaurant Week, which continues through Saturday. Make sure you get out and celebrate some of the great restaurants we have here in Annapolis for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can get more information at AnnapolisRestaurantWeek.com. On Saturday night, Garden State Radio is making their Maryland debut. Actually, I don't know whether it's a Maryland debut, but it's an Annapolis debut at Union Jacks, and this is a great party band from, obviously, New Jersey, bringing the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, music, lights. It's a real multimedia show. Definitely check it out at Union Jacks. I think the cover charge is $10 Saturday night. If you're looking to laugh a little bit, Saturday night, I've got a bunch of choices for you. Capitol Steps is playing at the Francis Scott Key Auditorium at St. John's College. These guys are a great improv troupe, all political, always a lot of fun. Speaking of improv troupes, over at O'Brien's, Free Range Improv, which is Annapolis' homegrown improv troupe, is there on Saturday night. Always adult comedy, a lot of fun. Tickets are available at freerangeimprov.com. There's also a hockey game going on Saturday night. It gets underway at 8 o'clock. It will be aired on NBC, and you can still get tickets if you are interested. This is the Washington Capitals versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it is the Stadium Series sponsored by Coors, happening at the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. And they have transformed a football/lacrosse field into a hockey rink, and it's pretty cool. Looking forward to that. On Sunday, you need to do a little bit of good. Head on over to Fido in Annapolis, right there on West Street at noon. It is St. Baldrick's, and this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fundraiser, which sort of kicks off the St. Patrick's Day season, where people will shave their heads, donate their hair to Locks of Love if it's long enough, and raise money to do it to help find a cure for children's cancer. Always a lot of fun to see people get their heads shaved, but it goes for a great cause. Sunday, noon, Fido. That's about it for the weekend. Be safe, don't get blown away, but have fun.
Thanks for listening to the Eye on Annapolis Daily News Brief. If you like what you heard, make sure to tell your friends and colleagues about it. And also tell them about our website, eyeonannapolis.net, where you can find much more. Be sure to check out our other weekly podcast, The Maryland Crabs. This podcast comes to you every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.